Alison, thank you so much for joining us.
It's lovely to see you, Paula, always.
I mean, you're just like a little heart. I adore you. Okay, so listen, we are going to start with July 29th. Daily Mail could get millions in damages. Can Harry afford it? Will he have to sell the mansion? Now, listen, I know you work for the Daily Mail. You can't really talk about that, but you did actually you were forced to be interviewed by David Sherborne and Harry's lawyers. What was that about, and what was that like?
So I was just a very small part of one of six actions. Six. There were six plaintiffs, and one of them was an actress called Sadie Frost, who was married to Jude Law, and she complained of a number of articles, and one of them was written by me in July of 2003, which is a long time ago. And they said, you must have got this personal information about her by hacking her phone or bugging or doing something criminal. And then I had to try and prove that I hadn't done something 23 years ago. So that was horrible. I mean, obviously I didn't, and there was no evidence I had, but then you still have to, they roll the dice and it's up to you to prove it. So I think one thing I can say a few general things. We don't want to peeve the judge, right? Because, 29th is an important day. So it's not damages, it's actually costs that he's on the hook for.
Okay.
And they all are. And the judge has absolute discretion about who he orders to pay what. Okay, so he could say, this person pays nothing. The general principle is you're severally responsible. So Harry and Elton and Liz Hurley and all that should all be liable for their portion of the failed legal action. However, the judge could say, I think Harry should pay all of it. Or the judge could say, I think Elton should pay it all, or Liz Hurley should pay nothing, or, so the judge can be very specific about it. So we'll wait and see. Things that can make the judge move in a certain direction are the conduct of the individual during that court case. So things like if they didn't disclose information, or if there's any kind of whiff of some kind of bad faith, people who refuse to mediate get frowned on as well. So actually their conduct and how aggressively or otherwise it was pursued, and their treatment of evidence will all be a part of what he weighs. And I can't really discuss it further than that because I don't want to get into trouble. But anyway,
understood. I just would like to add, for me, Harry's conduct was abysmal. He got into fights with the judge. He forgot he met people. He also helped bring people into this case. And in your case in particular, where you were grilled over Sadie Frost, it turned out it was her publicist who told you, correct?
It wasn't her publicist on that occasion, but it was a source, and it was a legitimate piece of journalistic inquiry from a long time ago, when I'd phoned someone who knew someone who said, oh yeah, this is going on, and Jude Law sent her papers and they arrived on her birthday, and it made her very upset. This is exceedingly well publicized divorce, and my article was a kind of pretty minor footnote in the reporting of it. But what happened, I think broadly what we can see with this massive failed legal action is that there's a pressure group that really wanted to get the Daily Mail to just to get us, and they claimed that they had information which indicated that the Daily Mail had engaged in criminal behavior. They didn't actually have any evidence, but they sold this lie to Harry and others, and that's why it all went as far as it did. So yeah, we'll see.
The other thing is, you would think, because the judge did say this should not go to court, and he was ignored. Now, they could be on the hook for tens of millions of pounds. And
so they're on the hook for what they spent, and then they're on the hook for what we spent. Yeah. So that's right. 50 million each. Yeah.
Wow. 50 million each. Although, to be fair, David Sherborne thought he was going to win, didn't really care if he won or not because he did it pro bono. That's what everyone is reporting. But still, 50 million for you guys, that's not cheap. Can Harry afford that?
I mean, it depends what his portion is. So, if we were to divide it, maybe 8 million, I don't think he has 8 million spare at all. I don't think he does.
The other thing is,
that house, I think, has 2 mortgages on it. So, yeah, I don't think he can remotely. But it could be that he went into it on the understanding that he wouldn't have to pay if it failed. He may have insurance, or he may have a wealthy friend who's offering to sub him. Hello, Elton John. I simply have no knowledge at all of that.
Well, the Times of London has reported that Harry and Elton assured all the others that they would cover the costs. And Elton has the deepest pockets. Now, I've reported that Elton has basically told Harry, I am not a bank, because Harry also wanted money for Invictus, because Invictus is also having a little financial problems after the week he had earlier in the month. Corporations are kind of like, not this year, see you later, which is interesting. Now, there's been a lot of talk, and I have reported this as well, that Invictus is in a lot of trouble. However, they just announced that, South Korea for the rescue. South Korea will pay for an Invictus in 2029, which is interesting because, let's be clear, this is the first time an Asian country has come in, and it just seems a little pay to play. Like they just want to kind of be near the royals, even though Harry is royal adjacent at this point. Now, if Harry does have to pay, like let's say they all pay, and Harry and Elton have said they'll take care of it, as the Times has reported, what do you think is going to happen? Because if they have 2 mortgages on this house already, the house in Montecito, that is now worth 28 million. Yes, they only bought it for about 14. But the problem is, even though your house is appreciated, number one, your taxes go through the roof. So they are paying taxes on a $28 million house, not a $14 million house. And the other issue is, if they have 2 mortgages, they could sell tomorrow and still not really get their money out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we'd all love to have such problems. I think there is an issue here. They do have a few very wealthy, very kind friends, like Victoria. Oh God, my name's gone totally blank. The no makeup lady. Yes. Help me out, Paula.
I know. Victoria, the one who flies them around in her jet and then in her New York house.
So I mean, someone like that could conceivably help. But actually, if I look at it with my media hat, and I think if anything was going to persuade you to actually make that Netflix documentary about your mother that you've been asked to make, that you don't really want to make, but they might give you 20 million for, this literally is it. So I think it's very possible that he will do some massive high profile, Diana-centered documentary, which I know he hasn't wanted to do, and it is painful to him, but I think, he doesn't have that many cards left to play. So if there's a lot of money that he has to find, there are some ways of doing it still.
If he did the Diana doc, which I have heard that he is, A, 20 million, that's a lot. And B, would he be welcomed back in the UK if he did that? Because again, they would want a lot of memories. Now, his memories of Diana, he was 11. His memories are probably of her because she was kind of indiscreet with her children and telling them all about what their father did. And also his memories would likely be of fights. Would that not harm their dream of Meg's Inn?
You know what, I think the death was such a tragedy, and it is one of the reasons why people still actually have sympathy for Harry, is this feeling that he's damaged by it. So I kind of think, in a way, I don't think it would be difficult for him. I don't think he would be for a minute negative or disrespectful about her. And I think, he has said before he doesn't really remember much about her. So it would really have to be him discussing the effect it's had on him and his psyche. And I actually think in a way it would probably only do him good, because there's a huge amount of anger in Britain about Harry and the way he has treated his father and his brother, and the way he's accused all of us of being racist. You know, it's not gone over well at all. So I honestly, I think he can barely make it worse.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Again, fascinating. And since Alison brought up her dog, I thought I'd bring up, well, my turd bird. Now, Doug is very protective. All right. He likes to go after motorcycles, scooters, skateboards, hates really big dogs. And this is also one of his biggest pet peeves, loathings ever, that he tries to protect me, his mother, from.
Go get him.
Oh boy. Roomba 1, Doug 0. Actually, Roomba 9 million, Doug 0. But what can you do? I love him so much. He's really trying. And he did try to redirect it, because I really wanted it to go that way in the room. So good job, Doug. All right, you guys, thank you again. I really, really appreciate you. Don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the hype. And I will see you tomorrow with the mystery topic you all voted on. And if you haven't voted yet, go to my posts, and we are talking about either worst celebrity parents or the fake feminists of Hollywood. And yes, Harry and Meghan can do in both. Ha! All right. Bye, guys. Thank you. I appreciate you so, so much. Have a great week.